Hello there, boys and girls, and all of those in between. My name is Maliena Bitchcock, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, a fantastic talk show where I get to interview some of the best performers from all over. This week, I am totally fangirling because I have the Eugene legend herself. She's ready to spill all the tea, the one and only Daphne Bertha Storm.
Hi, how is everybody doing today?
Hey girl, how you doing over there? Are you surviving quarantine?
I am doing pretty good actually for 4 months, stuck in the house. But this is my, like I said, first face since March 6th, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Oh my God, you mean you haven't been in drag in almost 4 months?
4 months, that's correct.
Oh my God, I fucking hate you. How do you look this good?
Well, when you've done it as long as I have, it's like riding a bike. It's like you just kind of throw it back on. It's like, okay, we'll find
Well,
this area,
you look
area.
truly beautiful, and I love that you're decked out in your rainbow beauty just like me to celebrate Pride.
Yes. Actually, there's a couple of quick little things. This week was actually the anniversary of the Marriage Equality Act. Also, the anniversary of the first Pride flag being created and debuted by Gilbert Baker.
Oh my God, I actually didn't know that. That's really great information. Do you know how many years that flag's been around?
It was 1978, yesterday.
Well, shit, boys and girls and all those in between, we got some education, and because we have a legend, we're going to continue getting educated. Now, Daphne, are you ready to dive into the bulk of this interview?
I am ready. I got my cocktail. You're in trouble. We're going to do this.
Oh my God, well, I can handle it. Daphne, I think we have to start at the very beginning, which means we have to go way back into the past. And tell me about your first exposure to drag.
Okay, so yeah, way back. That's close. So I just came out in July of 1980, and I got to know a few people and some friends, and we went out to the Rib Room, and we were getting ready to. Halloween was coming up, so there was a few people saying there's a costume contest, there, this and that. And I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know what to do, what I should do. And someone goes, you should come out and drag. I'm like, really? Wasn't quite so sure about it. So I thought about it, and collected a few things here and there. Borrowed a dress here and a skirt there, and some shoes, and ended up going out to the River Room Halloween night, first time in drag. It was not pretty. It was awful, but I had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
No, I love that. So you're technically a Halloween baby, because we usually say that queens are Halloween babies or Pride babies. So I love that. But you're a Halloween baby all the way back in 80. So, I mean, that's kind of fun to know. At what point did you start performing, Daphne?
Actually, just a few months after that. So after I got my first time, I met a few people from the Imperial Court, which we'll touch on. But a few there were room there. They're like, come on, let's do this. We do this. This is what we do. It'd be fun for you to get involved. We raise money for charity. So I said, okay, why not? What the hell? And so I got involved and joined up, and the first pageant was February of '81, the Heart of Oregon pageant. So that was my first time on stage. I debuted the picture actually last year for my 60th birthday on Facebook, the one that had been hidden away for so long. It was horrible. I learned a little bit of tricks, but it was still really bad. But that was my first time, and it was Captain and Tennille, Song of Joy. I remember the song to this day.
Oh, I love that. Well, what was it about drag and the hair and the makeup and all that made you want to do it?
I think I was a very, very quiet, very shy child, and growing up I was very timid and afraid to be in front of people. That even talking to kids I grew up with, in high school, went together, 12 years, kindergarten through graduation. I still would get sick to my stomach having to give a speech in speech class, or being put on the spot, or, you know, made that, you know, a center of attention. You know, go figure now. But I think that allowed me to put on that face and put on, you know, put this on and become someone else. I wasn't Bill. I made a character and became someone else. And music is my passion as well, and media production. And so it kind of combined everything together and allowed me to do something on stage.
I think that's really great. And, you know, that's the wonderful thing about drag is once you discover it, it's like you can almost do anything. It turns you into a little bit of a superhero, and you can go on stage and live your full fantasy. And usually no one will judge you except the other queens.
We do sometimes, but not too often. We like back then, yeah, it was like, oh, don't do that again, don't do that again. So, but now it's like, you know, it allows people to express themselves and be free and just get out there and just have fun with it. Jeez, I mean.
Amen. Now, Bill, when you first started, that was back in the 80s, and then you did a lot of performing through the 90s. So tell me a little bit briefly about what was drag like back in the 80s and 90s before it became mainstream.
So back in the 80s and 90s, the 80s especially, was you were in the bar or in someone's living room. There was very, very few places to actually perform or, you know, express yourself. So you had to have, you know, 3 pieces of male clothing on your body if you were in drag.
Really?
If you were you know, female in drag king, you had to have 3 pieces of female clothing. You had to have the assigned gender that you were. You had to have 3 clothing pieces to identify you as that.
And was that something that was like required by law? Like if you didn't, you could be arrested, or?
Yes, that was actually a law. So if you were pulled over, they could check you, and if you didn't have those 3 articles, they could actually take you in if they wanted to be, you know, they wanted to push the envelope. So you were very careful. You know, you went to your bar, you went to your car, and you went home. It's like here and there. Not like today where you can, you know, run down, you know, go bar hopping and run down the street, and you can go out to the park and you can walk down, you know, have fun and party. The 90s, it kind of opened up a little bit more to where there was, you know, more drag shows going on in different bars. It was still the gay bars. We still had, you know, the gay bars in town. So it wasn't quite as open and friendly in the other bars, but it opened up a little bit more to more interpretation of your drag and your performances in the 90s.
I love that. Now, I mean, again, drag was a totally different element back then. It's not what we have today because we have it as mainstream, and I mean, anyone can do drag now. Tell me about what was the most challenging part about doing drag back then.
I think at the time it was trying to work it into your life, because at the time yes, I was out, but there was still you could still be fired for being gay. So, you know, that was a no-no. It was just challenge trying to find that niche in your community and in society as to what you want to do and how you want to do it. Because at the time, doing drag was, you know, you had charity fundraisers. That was your outlet for drag. Not like today where, you know, you can have a cabaret show, you can have a fundraiser show here, you can have a show at this bar. You know, you only had a couple of outlets to deal with, so it was more challenging to try to keep that going, as well as try to, you know, create your own identity.
No, and that makes a lot of sense because it's hard enough to try to do drag because you have to try to get all the stuff, the makeup, learn how to use it, and then at the same time, oh wait, you have to fucking entertain people too and talk on the microphone and create a character, and that's not always easy, especially for people like maybe me or you who may underneath it all be shy and like to be at home and maybe are scared to flirt with the boys, but then you put the wig and the lip gloss on and we're ready to just
Yep, it does, you know, because, you know, plus buying your makeup, you know, you couldn't just go online and buy it. There was no internet. You had to go to May Company, or you had to go to Goodwill, you know, and get used makeup.
Ooh, you used makeup?
There was
Ooh.
used makeup. There was a dance place downtown, backstage dancewear, of course. They carried some Ben Nye products at the time for the theaters in town. So you could go in there and get your base and stuff like that. But I mean, it wasn't like you could just go online and order stuff. It was like you had to actually go downtown to one store, and that was your outlet. You know, same with clothing. We learned how to sew, we beaded, we rhinestone, we had hot glue burns, we had, you know, needles stuck in our fingers from beading, you know, so it was literally blood and sweat.
I mean, it sounds like a brutal time to do drag because there was a lot more pressure on you to, again, there wasn't designers, there wasn't places where you could buy a lot of custom drag clothing, so you had to make everything yourself, especially if you wanted an inch of creativity, I'm guessing. So
Yeah,
that
exactly.
has to be a lot harder, but at the same time, that had to give you skills that makes you a more well-rounded queen now.
Oh, after 4 months quarantine, I'm well-rounded right now.
That's not quarantine.
I think we're all getting there at this point.
I hear you. I'm calling
But
this one my Whopper and this one my Big Mac.
But yeah, exactly. So you had to learn how to sew. You learned how to bead. You learned how to make your costumes. We made headdresses. You know, you wrapped, you know, plastic bags around your head and then covered it in duct tape or plaster of Paris. You know, with, you know, newspaper with plaster, and you made your head forms and you cut them to your face and you glued everything on there and you made your headdresses. And those things you used several times because it took so much work to make them. You wanted to reuse them as much, and you revamped them, you know, over and over. I have several outfits I revamped. You know, I would make a dress, and then like a year later, I would take that and turn it into something else, similar but something different. And you know, you had to be creative over and over, and it was constant.
I love it. And, you know, that's what you just have to do to keep your drag fresh. Now, Bill, at this point, how many years have you actually been doing drag?
So since I started, so this October will be the 40th anniversary of my first time in drag. So I did take a couple little breaks here and there. When I moved to LA, I took about a year, grew a beard, you know, had that whole, you know, that thing going. And then when I moved back from California, I went to Florence for a few years, helped take care of my dad, who was terminal. So I was able to get over for like coronations and a few, you know, special events, but pretty much drag went on hold for a few years over there until I got back to Eugene, and then it's been nonstop since.
Well, I mean, yeah, girl, you impress us out here in Eugene because you just are like the Energizer Bunny. You keep going and going and going. And I keep telling people when the end of the world happens, which actually may not be too long, there's
Right?
going to be Bill, Cher, Twinkies, and cockroaches.
I'll take the Twinkies and
You
Cher.
won't take Cher?
You can have the cockroaches. That's it.
Well, I love it. Now, do you feel like drag has added a confidence in your life, not just when you're in drag, but when you actually in your everyday life also?
It has, definitely. It had the drag itself gave me this confidence to be on stage and that perform. I've always wanted to be a singer. When I was younger, I always wanted to be a singer. And
Really?
so I was in the church choir when I was little, and I was in band in high school, so I was musically inclined. But I never had that confidence to actually get up in front of someone to sing. I'd be like, and go throw up, you know? So I never had that. So being in drag and able to lip sync, at least that combined those together, you know, my love for music and my love for performing and entertaining and creating this character, which I could do, you know, that gave me that confidence. As the years went on, that went over into, you know, when I took the drag off, I still had that confidence. I'm still kind of more of a quiet person in you know, when I'm out, unless I'm with my friends, you know, I know people.
Right.
There's still that, but you know, it has really given me that confidence, you know, as me without the drag over the years. So, I mean, if you're, you know, some young person is wanting to start it and they're afraid, you know, have that self-confidence, you know, problem, try drag a little bit. Try it for a little bit. Get up there and see what happens. You can do it. whatever you want to do it and see how it feels, because you draw off the energy from the audience, and that feeds it, and that really builds that confidence back up.
Absolutely. And that's great advice, Bill. Now, one thing you mentioned is you always had a passion for music and you always kind of wanted to be a singer. Now, when you started becoming Daphne, did you ever consider singing live for the audience?
I did for about 10 seconds. And it's like, no, there's other people out there that can sing way better. And then plus, over the years, I smoked a bit and, cigarettes and stuff, and it kind of did some damage. So, the voice isn't quite what it used to be. I can still hold a tune, I can still carry a note, but no, there's people out there that, like Trailer Trash, she just blows you away. Just amazing live vocalist. So yeah, no, I'll stick to lip syncing.
Okay, girl, well, I get it. I have one song out there, and every time I try to sing it, it's like, oh, that is definitely some autocorrect on the voice, because I don't sound like that. But
more power to all the queens, all the performers, kings, queens, anybody that get out there and sing live. More power to them. I applaud you. Get out there and do it if you can. Just be yourself. My own personal feeling, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll stick to lip syncing. But if you can do it, get out there and do it. Just enjoy it.
Absolutely. It's all about just having fun. Now, speaking of having fun, Daphne, why don't you tell us how you actually got your drag name?
Okay, so there's 3 parts actually to my drag name. When the first time out, I went out as Cherie. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, oh, this sounds fun. I was watching a movie, I think, and it was like Sid Charisse, which was a weird thing because the person that I met at the bar that night, Charisse, that's who he was named after, was from Sid Charisse in the old movies, but it's different spelling. So he said, it's too close to my name. We got to change that. So I happened to live next door to him. This is how fate kind of happens, because I was living across the street from Charisse in Springfield and had no idea who this person was across the street. So that night at the River Room, got to talking, and I'm like, wait, you're my neighbor. And so I started going across the street for coffee, and he's like, after a while, he was like, you look like a Daphne, very sweet, very pure. Shut up.
I was gonna say,
very, because back then I was very demure. I wore bows, my blouses and long skirts and stuff. I was just very demure look, because I was still very shy. So Charisse named me Daphne, because it was after the flower, and Greek mythology, Apollo and Daphne. Mm-hmm. So that was where that part came from. Storm was actually in 2002. Peter bestowed that name on me in 2002. So I became Daphne Storm.
Oh my gosh. And are you the mother of storms, correct?
I am currently the matriarch. The founders are Peter and Winona Storm up in Bellingham. So I am the matriarch. Brian Storm is the patriarch. So we're the mom and dad right now of the Storm family.
Ooh, get it. Now,
and no, we have not consummated the marriage yet.
And just to dive into that a little bit, tell us a little bit about, especially back maybe in the 90s and 80s, when drag names were very important and weren't necessarily unique to the individual. They actually took place and held a whole family. Tell us a little bit, what does the Storm family represent?
Well, back in the early days, there wasn't really drag families. It was, you were a family, and you each had individual names, that were, a lot of them were play on words, or play on phrases. It's all just, made up stuff. They had the tough drag, which was the bearded drag. They all usually had different names that were a play on some kind of phrase or word. Sophonda Cox, I need a man. Anita Man type of stuff like that. So there was a play on things. As the years went by, they started getting the families. And the Storm family has been around for a while, Peter and Winona, over 30 years, 35 years, I think almost now. And so we've actually evolved into, we're actually the only drag 501c3 nonprofit. So when we produce events, we get donations, and that goes to their charities as a nonprofit, as a C3. So but the Storm family, to me, when I was beside the Storm name, it just meant something that I felt like I was becoming part of something, like part of a family, another chosen family, although I have many. But that kind of, it meant a lot to me to be included in something like that, into an actual family. And being the last name for 20 years, I was just plain Daphne.
Right.
So that was from 82 to 2002. That I had no last. It was just plain Daphne. So it was to have that Daphne Storm, and it flowed and it fit. And Peter's like, "It's yours." I'm like, "Oh."
I love that. I think that's fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit about the character that we know now as Daphne Storm.
She can be kind of a bitch, I think, sometimes,
Kind of.
but in a friendly way. I like there's very few people I actually dislike. I mean, you have to really do something really bad to piss me off, and then go, we're done. I'm pretty easygoing as far as meeting people and forgiving, giving second chances, third chances. But it takes a lot. But I think I'm very, easygoing. I think I'm approachable. I think other people have mentioned that they feel I'm not, because when they walk in, there's a 7-foot drag queen with big hair, and it can be intimidating. With anybody that has done drag, I think they've been told that same thing. You can be intimidating in drag, because I think they put you on this pedestal to where they think that you're like this. I'm not a god, but you're the celebrity of the night. And so they put you up here, and they think you're unapproachable, because of that. And we really aren't. We're not. We put our pants on, our pantyhose on, everything one at a time, and I will do a shot with you, within reason. But I think that's it's just a very different feeling to be treated like that sometimes. It's because I'm not used to that. It's like, wait, I'm just you. I'm just a normal person. I'm just me. But they put you a little higher up.
No, and it's true. Once you start doing drag, they kind of put you on this perfect pedestal, as I call it, because they assume that you're this perfect creature that looks stunning all the time and probably bathes in glitter. But they sometimes forget we're humans underneath it all also. So I definitely get that. Now, how would you describe Daphne in 3 words only?
Oh, and we were talking about this. I can't remember them all. I didn't write them down. I think I'm sincere, because I don't play drama. I don't play games. I don't play into that. So sincere would be one thing, because if you ask me something, I will tell you as honest as I can. I'm not gonna hurt your feelings. I will try. If someone asks me for help, I'm gonna be there for them. I think that was one. Going back to the other one, approachable. I think I feel I am. I hope I am. And I don't remember the other one because it was a really good one too. Did you write it down?
I have written right
we had a pre-meeting.
I have written right here the 3rd one as cougar.
That will do it good. Yeah. Okay, you win on that one. So yes, I turned 61 this week, and yes, I date, younger men, youusually under 50, under 40. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I think because when I was growing up, where I liked that younger generation, I never had that when I was growing up. I was never exposed to that. I never experienced that when I was young. And so as I got older, that same generation was still, appealing as far as, having that attraction. Now to settle down, no, I want someone, older that settled. They got a car, they got a home, they got a job,
You'd be able to take care of yourself, honey.
I'm not, no, I have a son. I'm not raising another one. Okay. I'm not. So yeah, so cougar, that fits, I think, quite well. So thank you.
Well, duh, girl. I mean, I will say this: you go to the bar with Daphne Bertha Storm, and you're standing there in a one piece, and you're thinking you're looking sexy as hell. And this hot boy comes up, and you get ready to flirt with him. And what does he do? He starts flirting with Daphne. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's happened a few times. There's like, oh, hey. Either that or like, you look like you can afford to buy me a drink, okay?
Mm-hmm. Now, Daphne, what is your personality like in drag? And do you feel like there is a major personality shift from when everyday life to when you put the wig and makeup on?
Yeah, there's definitely a personality shift, I would say. As me, because, you know, as Bill, as I get older, you know, I see myself different as I got older. I don't see myself as that, you know, that outgoing person. Sometimes I see, but as in drag as Daphne, you know, very outgoing, very, you know, not in your face, but I can go up and I can say hi, I can meet you, I can say hi, you know, and introduce myself. As Bill, you know, when I'm out of drag, it's more, you know, I'm not as confident, I think, as that. So there is a definitely personality change. I can be more open, I can be more outgoing. And when I'm on stage, you know, when I have a song that I'm doing that I enjoy, it's like I've dropped to my knees several times. I've hurt my knee, but I can really pull it out. At least I hope I can. So.
No, and you're definitely a great entertainer as long as you don't hurt yourself in the process. You know,
I am getting older.
Well, and drag ages you even quicker because, you know, everything that we do to our bodies to look this beautiful in one night takes a toll on our bodies. So you always have to take care of yourself. Now, speaking of performances and the things you do on stage, what can we expect from a Daphne Bertha Storm performance?
Well, depends on where I am. I would you have to, and that's actually a good point, because you have to adapt to your surroundings when you're performing. Right. We can do, you know, the glamazons or shebang. We can perform there at the bar, you know, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and really cut loose and be more adult, you know, really, you know, get out there. But if we're doing a show, say on campus, you have to dial that back.
Right.
You know, you have to dial it back and be more the entertainer, you know, hands off type of thing. You know, you have to adapt. Pride is another whole adaptation, because you have kids. It's a family venue, so you have to adapt your performance to your venue. Don't change who you are, but just kind of be more aware of what you're doing and where you're doing it. I think that's the whole thing. I give my all when I'm on stage. I try to anyway. You know, Cher is my idol, of course. Everybody knows that. When I'm doing a Cher number, it's like I don't have to think about the song, the words, you know, because they're in the back of my head. I can just get out there and I can perform it.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned that, Daphne, because my next question was that you're actually very, very well known for performing Cher within the last 40 years. Tell me a little bit what that diva means to you and how much she's helped inspire you.
I think I started watching, you know, Sonny and Cher show. I think we all did way back when.
Well, I was too young. I was too young. I don't know things like that.
You've seen it. Don't bullshit me.
I have.
It's on Prime now anyway. So I think just the way she took control of her life. You know, because I mean, yes, everybody loves Sonny and Cher. He was not a good person to her in a marriage situation. You know, she pulled herself out of that. She made a name for herself. She dated a lot of younger men too. She's a cougar. So I get my inspiration from her. A lot of my inspiration. But I think just the way she's evolved. She can change with the decades. She can adapt. She's a multi-entertainer, you know, from all the different the media place, the movies, the stage, the music. I think that's what I draw from that energy. It's like I look at her, it's like she's 74 friggin' years old and she's still kicking ass, so if I can get out there and still do a little jig and dance around, do a little number at my age, it's like, okay, I'm good.
Well, yeah, I mean, if Cher can go out there at 74, rock out in almost a see-through bodysuit, like something like this, and not give a shit about what one person thinks of her, then that means you have no excuses, because that she's definitely the queen of just owning herself, and really, I mean, not aging either. I mean, she looks the exact same as I remember her when I was a kid.
Yeah, she's had a little bit of work done, a little bit of cheek, a little bit of lip, a little nose, but she did not have ribs removed like the rumor has it. She didn't have all this stuff done. She's had, she's a very healthy person. She actually lives a very healthy life. So she did actually, the last concert I went to, she was bragging about, she did a 5-minute plank on, one time. I'm like, I can barely do a 1-minute plank.
Oh my God. I mean, planks aren't easy. It works out your core and your arms. And
they're
I mean,
horrible.
5 minutes? I mean, that's impressive, Cher. You get it, diva.
They're horrible. Levi used to make me do them at the gym, and I hated it.
Well, I love that. Now, as we mentioned, you're a fantastic performer. Now, a little birdie has told me, even at one point, someone was able to get your booty going and put together a choreographed dance number that you were able to do with the Work Dance Company.
Yes, I've done a couple, but yes, the one, I was very proud of myself, actually, because I'm usually very solo. I do my own thing on stage, and if I have backup dancers or whatever, they do their thing. And this one actually, we with Nathan Boozer and Work Dance, we did a number at the Holt Center, and I actually did the whole choreography with what 20 or 25 girls out there, the dancers. I loved it. It was so much fun. I mean, I have rhythm. They may not think so, but I do have some rhythm, so.
How was it to pick up those moves? Was it easy for you, or was it kind of a challenging experience? Because for me, I have 2 left feet. I feel like I would just trip over myself.
I thought it was very easy. But again, I being in band and musically inclined, so I have that rhythm already in my legs going, so I can feel the beat. And Nathan was actually a very good instructor and very good teacher. So it was pretty basic steps and stuff that we learned, and we just, we got in there and we did it. It's like, we're gonna do this, whatever.
Yes, Queen. Well, I can't wait to see you dance some more out there. So maybe next year at Damsels, we can get you to really bust a move. Yes. Now, I hear, let's see here. What do you think makes Daphne Bertha Storm's performances unique from other queens?
I wouldn't really say unique, because everyone's unique in their own way. I'm more the classic, I go for the classic song. I like the 80s, and give me a good 80s song, good Taylor Dane, good Bonnie Tyler, Bette Midler, I'm good, I'm there. I think what mine is, I interact with the audience a lot more. I don't just get up there and entertain and perform. I try to interact with the audience. I try to perform the number, perform the song. I read the lyrics and I go. I know a lot of people do that, so I'm not unique in that way. But I think I go out there to have fun and I go out to entertain, And I think where I have that different style, that classic. I like I said, the old 80s of disco stuff. That shit's mine. I love that,
Yeah. You definitely bring a certain confidence and a fearlessness to the stage that even I don't have. I mean, you go on stage and you own it.
I try. I try. I mean, you almost have to, but again, that comes with experience, comes with time. Everyone's got it inside them. It's just you have to be able to let that out.
I love things inside me.
You would. I've seen your husband.
Well, hey. Now, tell us a little bit about your drag style and what kind of looks we can expect from Daphne.
What can you expect?
Yeah.
a few more years, I think I'm still good. I've been, we've been doing, I still making outfits and still doing hair and stuff. I try to, fix this whole quarantine thing. I fixed like 7 wigs and repaired several dresses and washed everything and, washed all my brushes. But I'm trying new things. I'm actually trying to learn new things and just stepping outside my box a little bit to try something different. Just like the choreography, that number was a little bit outside what I normally do, and I loved it. So I'm trying to do little different things here and there. I've discovered that some of this music I would like is like becoming younger than what I would be doing probably.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to find like the older stuff that I like that
I love that.
really hit home.
Well, absolutely. And what about like your aesthetic itself, like your costumes, your hair? Are you like, I can already tell you're probably attracted to that subtle flat hair, like, me. We just like a little subtle hair that you go to the market with. But I'm guessing you like big hair and flashy clothing, correct?
Yeah, like I said, I'm an 80s, 70s, 80s disco area. I like the bigger hair. It just, there's something about it with my face, my build, that big hair. I've tried, hair that you're wearing now. I have a couple like that, which work really good. Lilac has done amazing, plug for Lilac hair. Lilac has done some amazing hairs. I've got a couple of hers, and just flawless. But I like the bigger fluff, the bigger floof. This is my favorite style, I think, of all of them, because I have a little bit of bang and this. But I'm stepping outside. I got the big, and I love the different clothes, and I love the colors. And
could we expect maybe Daphne in a sexy bodysuit like this sometime soon?
That was about 30 years ago.
Oh, girl, you're never too old to show your sexy body. Look at Cher. I thought she was your role model.
Yeah, but see, I got that quarantine roundness going on right now. I got to drop a little bit there before I get that back in.
Girl, I hear you. I hear you.
But I have done that. I have done the bodysuit. So if I can ever find the videotape, it's a VHS in California at Jen's bar down there. There's a number I did. I'm wearing it on the piece is just a front leather piece.
Ooh.
With very thin elastic around the back and a cape. That's it. I mean, it's like nothing.
I love that. Now, in fact, Daphne, a little birdie has also told me that you don't just have a tiny little closet with a wig or two in it and, a couple dresses. You have an entire bedroom full of wigs, clothing, jewelry, and shoes. Tell me, how long did it actually take you to get a decent drag wardrobe?
It took a while. I had a little bit when I moved to California. I built up a little bit, lost some of that when I moved on the move back. Ended up when I was in Florence. I had a box. It was Daphne in a box, and I took that box everywhere. That box had my makeup, my one hair, what few outfits I had, a couple pair of shoes, and that was it. I mean, it was literally a cardboard box that contained Daphne. So after I got back here and got my own home and got back into it full swing, it started growing. It became a full closet, and then a couple of extra shelves for a couple extra heads, and now this house here, my third bedroom, is nothing but. I mean, there's a whole wall of wigs. You've seen it. There's like drawers and drawers and drawers of outfits. There's 2 closets full.
It's like drag heaven, I swear. You walk into that room and there's wigs on the whole wall, and it's like, oh my God, I just want to wear this. I want to wear that. And oh my God, can I borrow this? And you're like, bitch, touch it, I'll fucking cut you. And I'm like, oh.
I do loan some things out, but not too often. This is a coat back here that I had put up as a backdrop. I've loaned that out a couple of times for pride, but yeah, there's a full stuff in there. Yeah, every few months I'll go through it and do a purge, because I tend to buy more dresses or make more dresses as the years. I have dresses I've never even worn yet, and I got them 6 months ago. So I gotta do a purge and get rid of some of the other stuff that's a little smaller. And
well, the one thing I love about you doing your purges is because the bigger you get, the more of those dresses I get to fit me. So I'm like, hey.
Yep.
Well, Daphne, you have always been a queen of the community, meaning you always take time to do your work and give back. In fact, when you first started back in the 80s, you actually started within the imperial court system and started working with the ISCEE and our Eugene court system. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that, and then how soon after that you actually took the role for Empress?
So the ICEE, back then it was just the ICEE. That was the people who at Halloween that night at the bar, they pulled me over to their booth, said, "Come on, join us at the booth here." And I got to know them and introduced themselves and got me involved with the organization. I did some, started reading about the organization, what they did. Back then, of course, it was just whatever we had on paper. There was no internet stuff, so you had to just look at documents and paperwork. Learned about what they're about. Went to a couple shows out of town like Salem and Portland, and really started getting involved with the community. The charity work with that organization was founded on. There's now 75 chapters throughout Mexico, Canada, and U.S. They started in 1964 down in San Francisco by Mama Jose. So it's been around for a while, and every city has a chapter. Does this wonderful charity work for local nonprofits, for charities, for needy for organizations. I felt that was like a place where I fit in. It was something I enjoyed doing, and it gave me a purpose, basically, to help the community and help these organizations. Back then it was Meals on Wheels, Rape Crisis, Mother Callie's books, Shanti organization, which is now HIV Alliance. All these different organizations that we were supporting, and it just feels good to give back to the community doing that. And that's just grown with me over the past 40 years as I've continued. I joined them in 1980. 82 was my first time as Empress. Didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't for Wes, who was my emperor. He knew what he was doing.
And what was that first year like? I mean, I knew, because I was Empress last year, that it can sometimes be intimidating, especially that first year. So what was your first experience as Empress?
So exactly. It was very unknown. I'd run for 2 titles before that and lost both to the same person, my roommate and best friend. So it was quite interesting. So they put me in, and I was voted in, elected Empress in 82. I was like, I have no idea what we're doing. My friend Wes said, "Don't worry, I'm your emperor. I'll be your emperor. We'll get through this. I'll show you the ropes and what to do." And we had actually a good board. There were several past monarchs that were on the board that were still around, and they actually, they help guide and kind of and get you through things. Yes, I lost my job right after I was elected due to discrimination, but I made through that year, working part-time at the bar, getting unemployment. I still managed to do it. We had, we traveled to, Boise, Portland, Tacoma, Seattle, all these different things. And it was very scary, very unknown, but so much fun learning. I mean, it was like you met new people everywhere you went. We went to Boise. I had 3 boys that wanted to come home with me. And Wes is like, "There's no room in the car."
Oh my God, Daphne, did you always have this magic mojo that makes the boys come after you? God.
Yes, I don't know what it is. They see my wallet, maybe, I don't know.
Well, goodness. Well,
just kidding.
Then, you have actually been Empress 5 times, Daphne. 5 freaking times. What keeps you coming back for the role as Empress?
Glutton? No. No. The second time was, it'd been 20 years. So the second time was a friend of mine, Dan. We would chat and we said, "Let's do this." We didn't have any candidates, so let's do it. It's been 20 years. I want to do it again. I want to do it again. I want to do it and have fun. you know. So we did it in 2002, and then a few other times, you know, came through, you know, the years went by. I just felt that I saw a need, that there was someone needed to step in there and maybe have some guidance. You know, felt like it was like a lull, and maybe a lull in membership, you know, maybe a, you know, hard time in the community or something. So I kind of, you know, really thought about it, and it's like, you know, I'll go ahead and do this again. And, you know, I don't need to, but it's like I felt that need, that, you know, there was that need in the community, as far as some kind of leadership. And at least I hope I was some kind of leadership. You know, I always, you know, I'm a very modest person when it really comes down to it. So I hope that I was able to be, you know, some kind of a leader and a figure up there of people to, you know, to follow.
Absolutely, and you definitely are, Daphne. I mean, just to get emotional and sentimental for a minute, I mean, I met you, were literally, you, Caress, and Diva were the first queens I ever met back in 2005, and you guys came down to Southern Oregon for a Pride Festival. Yes, Daphne, you can tell them how busted I look.
I won't tell you how, but I just had this little boy in bright blue eyeshadow, and really bright blue eyeshadow. We're talking garage doors. and kind of a pink lipstick. But you know what? You were out there. You were having fun. You were leading. You know, leading the charge for the day. You were owning it. I mean,
thank you.
You know, we had a blast, you know, performing down there too. But you know, for someone, especially in that area, you know, Medford, Grants Pass, you know, that whole area is very, very conservative back then. I mean, still is.
Yes.
But I mean, you owned it. I mean, you're out there. I mean, you came up. You're like lip syncing. I kissed a girl right in my face. I'm like, you ain't kissing me, bitch.
I can't believe you remember that, because yeah, I definitely did that song back then. But you know, I remember looking at you because I related to you. You gave me an aesthetic that I was, especially back then, was just like, oh, because you have this big, beautiful red hair. And I mean, you're still beautiful, but your fucking waist, if I remember right, was so fucking tiny. And you
it was yeah, it was. Yeah. I smoked back then, so I didn't eat as much. So.
Well, you were just literally this beautiful goddess. And I'm just like, I remember looking at you and be like, tell me your secrets. What do I need to do to be like a queen? And you were just so sweet back then. Who would know? And you were just like, be true to who you are, never give up. And, you know, always just fight for that light that you're fighting for. And it's like, now look at me now, girl. You know, you created a whole monster with that advice.
It's my fault. Sorry, world.
But, you know, you really do inspire the masses. You are a good role model, especially for the drag community. And I was telling my boyfriend, today, I know you're going to hate this reference. You hate it when I call you this. I said, you know, Bill is kind of the Darcel of Eugene, not quite as old, but he's that legendary queen who has really helped establish the drag scene here. And the reason I think you're really inspirational, because I want to be like you. I want to be in my early 50s, early 40s, and still be doing it and still rocking it and having that fan base. So I think you're fabulous, Bill.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. I mean, I hope that I have been able to contribute something, you know, and to inspire someone, at least one or two people to be themselves, to do their thing, and you know, that's all I ask for. It's just people to be themselves and have fun with it.
Absolutely. Now, you've been with the court system for 40 years, supporting them throughout the years. How have you seen the court system evolve through the years?
It's evolved. A lot of things have changed with different chapters. Some little small chapters have closed. Some new ones have opened up. It used to be pretty much the only venue, the only outlet for drag back in the 70s and 80s. So it had more of an impact, I think, as far as people knowing what who you were and what the organization was. The way it's evolved now, is where there's so many different places, different venues for drag. It's not the only outlet for drag now. You can be yourself. You can have a cabaret show down the street in another bar. You can do a YouTube channel
Right.
during the quarantine. You know, during the quarantine, you can be this hostess. You can go on TV, be on Drag Race. You can be on Dragula. You know, All Stars. Except it's less as Pandora. She's my favorite.
Yes.
But I think it's evolved to the point where it's more focused on the community work and the fundraising for charities, because the court system has done some big things that people may not be aware of. You know, there was a naval ship that was renamed the Harvey Milk, which the court system was behind. There was a stamp named the Harvey Milk. You know, and after, you know, the U.S. Postal Service, you know, that doesn't happen just overnight. So I mean, there was like letters and calls and, you know, petitions and everything signed. So there are things that are being done behind the scenes by each chapter and the collective. That sounds like the board, the collective. We are the board.
There's no resistance.
Yeah. So there are things, there's some happenings in, you know, behind the scenes that people do. And it, you know, like I said, it's the fundraising for charity, for local charities, you know, the petitions, you know, we got, you know, the Stark Street was renamed, you know, up in Portland, you know, they're petitioning. They would like to do something for Darcel, but, you know, Darcel's been up there. She's, you know, fabulous and famous. They're looking at making, you know, Darcel's the bar, you know, landmark, a historical landmark. So there's things that it can be evolved to, because Darcel was part of the Rose Court. She was Empress 15. So that has evolved up until now, you know. So everybody kind of shoots off and spread out. You know, Diva and Cress and I are all Empresses of the Eugene Court. And we've all expanded out and done our little thing here and there. So there's a lot, it's really built up. So if you have, you know, a chance, you know, you can donate or, you know, check out your local chapter if, you know, they're everywhere.
No, and that was actually my next point was, why do you feel it's important to support or go to those local court shows even now? Because, you know, they do have those chapters all over. So tell us why it's important to support the court system, if you can.
I think, well, I have a few passions with the court still. You know, the Christmas show that we do, we raise money to buy toys for Central Latino Americano. That is a huge passion of mine, and that's through the court. You know, yes, I could do it, you know, probably on my own. I could do an online thing, which we might have to this year. But it's that community and that family coming in from the other chapters, the friends that you've made in other cities doing the traveling, they come down and support. It's that unity, that the camaraderie and family feel that you get with those people. And to raise this money for that, it's just a good feeling. When I hand that check over to the charity, or when we deliver that truck full of toys, you know, it's just a good feeling. Yes, there's a little self-serving thing there, but yeah.
You know, I will say behind the scenes, just a little tea on my end. I watch Bill every year after we do the Christmas show. We go shopping. You cannot believe the smile this beautiful person gets every year when they see the load of toys getting bigger and bigger every single year, and we're giving more and more to those kids. And this beautiful person here, they don't get anything out of it but knowing they're helping the community. And their smile literally is going ear to ear the moment we're walking away from that register and they're watching 20 carts being pushed away with toys. I love it.
Thank you. It really does. I mean, there's a good feeling down in your soul just to see that, you know, and it's yeah.
Sorry, girl, don't mean to get you emotional over there, girl. So, speaking of, you have done so many amazing things. One of the most amazing that we know you do every single freaking year is a little tiny event. Who am I kidding? A major event that we have at the Holt Center every single year that we now know as Damsels, Divas, and Dames. I always get dyslexic with that. Tell us a little bit of the journey of Damsels.
So yes, Damsels has become another big part of one of my babies. You know, I've get very, very passionate about it. It actually was started, the very first show at the Holt Center was 1990, and it was Empress 16, Sally Be Good's Empress show, Toast of Eugene. And then in 2000, we picked it back up. Actually, David Best, who is Francesca, or one of our past princesses in the court, Emperor Shebang, he brought it to the court and said, we wanted to redo this. Can we get your support, to get it, to kind of get the ball rolling again? So Francesca, myself, Diva, Caress, Mystique, Tokyo Rose, I mean, a ton of different people. We all got together. We started brought it back to the Holt Center in 2000. It had a couple different producers. David did it a couple times. Tokyo produced it. Alan produced a couple more. Came back, as Sally. And then I took it over about 14 years ago. And it is built to such a huge event. And it's so much fun doing it. It's a lot of work, but it's so much fun. You get a great cast up on stage. It's a 500-seat theater. We've been selling out for the past 10 years. It just built up this community favorite. I get this feedback from the community going, we want more, we want more, we want more. It's hard to top, year after year. So that's the big passion of mine. Unfortunately, we had to cancel this year, but we're gonna be back, for the 21st anniversary on April 3rd. So.
And I'm so excited for this next show because it'll be my first appearance on the Damsel stage for a solo performance. I'm so excited! So that's definitely exciting. Now, you have been producing this show 14 years, Bill. I mean, it probably seems like yesterday for you. Tell us, what do you think has made Damsels, Divas, and Dames so popular through the years?
I think it's just that build of the entertainment value. People can go to, it's the audience of Damsels is such a wide range of diverse group of people. We have people from the coast, we have people from Portland, from Bend, all over Oregon that come in for the show that they would normally not have a drag show. My sister comes every friggin' year. Is her one drag show a year. But she's over here every friggin' year, and she's right down front. I make sure of it, but I think it's just that entertainment value. They want to come and say, want to see a show, and it's a safe, I want to say safe venue as far as it's family friendly. Kids can come. We offer discounts for college and high school students. You have to worry about, a bar scene. It used to be a smoky bar with, alcohol if you don't drink. It's sometimes it's kind of rough to go into a bar. There's the one venue where you can just come and have a theater setting. It's a safe setting. You'll sit there and enjoy a nice show. We have fabulous MCs. Diva's done it. Mark Mullins has come back many times from KMTR. Still my favorite coming back. Poison Waters has been down here. Maria. So it's just that venue, that setting. And the entertainment value gets better and better. You have these people that can work a 35 by 100 stage, with all these, lights and everything. It's a lot of fun. And it's just for a good cause. It's all for HIV Alliance.
Well, and it's definitely a great show to watch. Now, last year, I was in the audience and I got to watch, it seemed like you had a little bit of everything. You had aerial dancers. You had a big opening number to The Greatest Showman. You had Miss America, I believe. Your show for Damsels truly has a little bit of everything. So what can we expect from the Damsels show? Like, if you go, what does the audience expect from everyone?
I like to hope that the people will walk away from the show feeling happy, confident in that they're helping a good cause, but just this good feeling of camaraderie, this community, this family. To go and just have a good time, forget everything that happened during the day, forget everything that's happened outside this building. Go in there, leave your troubles, leave everything at the door, go in and just for 2 hours have fun. Let yourself go into this other world of feathers and hairspray and glitter and whatever shit we throw up on that stage, you know. And just
Absolutely.
forget about life for a couple hours and just have fun.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like heaven for sure. Now, Bill, it has to definitely be hard when you are producing this every year. So, what all goes into producing this show and selecting this amazing cast that you get?
So I usually start on a normal year. I usually start about I would say May. I get the date, you know, picked for the Holt Center for the following year, and then get the contract signed with HIV Alliance. So that's the beginning. Then about September, then we start with the ticket order and the description for the Holt Center website, you know, pictures and all that information there. And then those tickets go on sale usually in December. About October, November, I start looking at casts. You know, I invite the previous cast back, you know, though, and they can't come back. Then I reach out to, I look at people who can work that stage, and I look at the audience as to what they may want. At least I hope what they may want, and I try to fill that gap as far as, you know, the entertainment value, you know, production value, someone that's, you know, I don't want to say larger than life because everyone is on that stage, but get that cast going there. And then after the first of the year, I start working on the ad sales, putting the program together, working on the bios and pictures from the cast members. I start them in January, and I usually get them sometimes just before production time. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it's like in phases. And the first few years, it was like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I used to stress so much about it. But now it's, you know, being how I have a production degree, you know, that background, so it kind of falls into place. It's like, okay, I gotta do this here, I gotta do this here. Okay, October's coming up, gotta do this. You know, so it kind of flows now, but there is a lot of work in it. It's really mentally draining.
And what would you say is the most challenging part of trying to produce this show every year?
Keeping my hair.
What? You have lilac now. That's not an excuse.
No, my real hair from me pulling it out. No, it used to be, you know, that stress of, okay, what if no one buys a ticket? You know, that stress of what happens, you know, I have nightmares about no one showing up, you know, no one being ready for the show, me not being ready for the show. That's the more stressful for me. I've learned to put that aside now a little bit. I only have a couple little bad dreams, but I know the people that are on stage that are going to be performing, I know they can bring it. I know, you know, the rehearsal part is the really probably a rough time for me, trying to get that rehearsal time, get people their stage cues and everything done in the time that we're allotted that day, and trying to get my stage manager Dan, who I love him dearly and he loves me dearly, but we like sometimes. But usually by the time, you know, that, you know, rehearsal's done and their break's done, that doors open at 7, it is what it is.
It's true. And, you know, especially day of, I always kind of wondered how you were able to balance hosting the show, producing the show, directing the show, and being a part and performing in the show all in one night and not going insane.
I hide it really well.
Well,
I get a little cocker sometimes. There was one show, and I don't know what I did or why I did it. I didn't realize it until the show was starting. We had 3 court numbers, 3 full court productions, 2 shebang numbers. I had a duet with someone else and my own solo number.
wow.
I'm like, what did I just do to myself? So that ended that year. That was at the end of that. It was like, no more. So it's very hard. It's you have to learn that balance, you know, and to be able to, like I said, you know, once that curtain starts, that part, you can relax a little bit and then you can focus on something else.
No, absolutely. And I think that's good to kind of focus on, especially when you have such a big production to actually put on. Now, Daphne, what can we expect next from Damsels, Divas, and Dames, especially because it just keeps getting bigger and bigger?
So that's the other hard part about producing it is like, what do you do next year to top it? What do you do next year? Do you try to top it? Do you just, go with your best of the best? Do you try something new? It's a hard decision to try to do. So I think this year, being canceled is giving me a little extra time to at least fine tune my number. I mean, everything was pretty much done. Because you're in it next year. We got Kimberly Michelle, hopefully gonna be in it next year. Lilac. So we got some new faces coming down that can really bring it. And Lilac can bring me new hair too while she's at it.
Oh my gosh, it's true. That queen is able to really whip out some amazing hair. I mean, last year when you were on the stage, you had this giant red curly wig, and you were in this like silver outfit, and damn, that was some hair.
It was flawless. It was perfect. So yeah, check out Lilac's designs. Lilac on Facebook. She has auctions now and then for her hair. So I'll put a plug in for you there, Tony. So but yeah, so it's just trying to get that balance of classic, of good entertainers, of some new entertainers that I know, it's a constant turn.
I get it. And I definitely can't wait for next April. And for all those people who do look forward to Damsels, definitely look into where we can get tickets, because you definitely want to support this amazing event. Now, Daphne, on top of all of that, you actually are also the president of the Eugene Pride organization, correct?
Yes.
Now, tell us what it's like to be the president also of Pride every year, and to help put on the Pride Festival that we have out here in Eugene and host it every year.
Like I said, I'm a glutton.
I know, girl. What the heck?
So I've been involved with the Pride Committee, God, I want to say over 10 years, at least. When I started working for Symantec, I was with the LGBT group there. So I got sponsorships from Symantec to Pride, and they're like, "Can you help with raffles? Can you help with this?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll come in here and help with the committee." And next thing is like, boom, boom, wait, I'm president. I'm like, wait, when did that happen? So, and Diva and I have been hosting it for as many years, I think, as well, just because we work so well together, and again, there's a lot of work. We start in January. We do the kickoff meetings. We start planning the festival. We had our first march last year. That was a huge success. So cool. From downtown out to the park. I'm also in charge. Nathan and I work on the entertainment, getting that booked. Plus, we have I get ready out there at the park, and I, welcome everybody coming in when it opens, and I host it, or co-host it rather, and then help tear down. So but there's a fantastic committee. There's a board and a committee of fantastic workers that all come together and make this happen. It's not just, I don't just go and it's done. We got, Tim and Vince and Deanne and Brooks and Daryl. I mean, there's so many people that put so much time and energy into this. And we're completely expanding. We're looking at actually for more people to get involved with the board and the committee this next year, since we had to cancel again. That was the same we had to cancel. But there's so much people that put their all into that one day. And I like to think that I have a little help with that. But I try to focus more on, making sure everything's done and organized a little bit. But they leave it to them to take care of their areas, and they do such a fantastic job with it that I just can't thank them enough. So I can just enjoy being on stage and, running around and, having fun.
Well, and it's definitely an amazing event that keeps growing every year. In fact, the last 2 years, I believe we've had Pandora Box come and be part of Pride, which is a great honor. And it's nice to just have a semi-celebrity there with us and celebrating a wonderful time. So, I have a feeling the next year that we actually can get out and celebrate and just be ourselves. It's going to probably be the biggest pride Eugene has ever seen.
We're hoping, because last year we had over 6,000 people in and out of the park throughout the day. Hugest, biggest pride we've ever had for a one-day event.
Wow.
So yeah, so we're looking at this next year. We've already revamped the park. We had the layout done. We've got all these new ideas going. We had them all in place, and then good old COVID hits, and we're like, oh, really?
Right.
So those are all still, the background is already pretty much done as far as that. So it'll make it easier to get going for next year. So just stay tuned. There's bigger and better things coming for next year.
Absolutely. Now, Daphne, tell me a little bit, because you are definitely a queen that likes to take care of your community. So what does this kind of community work mean to you as a drag queen and a person?
Well, as a person, like I said, it's very fulfilling. I was born and raised on the coast, Bandon in Florence. Moved over here to Eugene originally in 1978. Went to college, and just when I came out, just became part of that community. There was a lot of something that was lacking in my life. That first 20 years of my life, being a very Christian conservative area. I think that I started reaching out to the community and to see and get more involved. That was more fulfilling for me as a person. So it just kind of built on that. I kept seeing a need here, a need there, and I'm one of these people. It's like I want to be everybody's friend, at this point, and I'm learning is like you can't be everybody's friend. You can be, you can be there and be supportive. So
I love that. And Pride has definitely, it does so much for us every year. In fact, because you've been within the community and out and proud for so long, you must have been able to witness Pride for a lot of years and see how much it's actually grown, not just locally, but all over the world.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Ours was like back in the, I want to say the early 90s was our first one. So very small, very small turnout, just a little in the park, thing. So it's grown immensely, and the support, the community support, the government support, the bigger, companies. Yeah, there's some companies, with big money that come in, but right now we're filtering that money they donate to us to our scholarship fund. So. So
tell us about that scholarship, just a little really quick.
So a little really quick, I implemented a couple years ago the Pride Equality Scholarship Fund. We gave out our first awards last year. We gave out $7,500 last year to 4 recipients. Yeah, 4 or 5 recipients. Don't quote me on that, I think 4. And we're looking at giving more away this year. Though Pride's been canceled, we're going to still try to give something away in August, even though because we have the funds there to give out. So it's anybody that's LGBT, QA student, children of LGBTQA, parents. It's on our website, eugenepride.org. Go to get a scholarship fund. It's just a wonderful thing to give back to the kids.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on to our next subject, why don't you just tell us really quick, Daphne, what does pride mean to you as a person?
Pride to me is community, again, community, family and community. Just seeing it build over the years, not having some of that when I first, coming out, just to see that celebration, to see the community come out and get together, the families, the kids. Ours is special because we have the park, so everybody, everybody's friendly. You got your pets, your dogs, and people have brought their parrots and snakes, and no snakes for me, but. You were holding a stake, weren't you, outside Wayward Lamb one night, wasn't it?
Both Wayward Lamb, no, it was Spectrum, because it was Mother's Day brunch with me and you.
Yes.
And also Pride, I let them put a snake on me. And I'll tell you, I don't like things that don't have legs very often.
No, I don't either, no.
Yeah, so that was a very brave moment for me, and like I said, I'm good. Next time you can keep that snake on your own shoulder. I've had my Britney Spears moment. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, no, I'm good. But no, yeah, no, Pride's, it's just that family celebration, that community, because you can celebrate it all year long. You don't have to have one day. They're all over the world. It's just that feeling of acceptance, that feeling of growth, and finally that feeling of equality, which we're hoping to hang on to, so.
Right. And I mean, that all started, I mean, you got to witness like Stonewall. Weren't you around when that first happened, Bill?
I was 10.
So you were around.
I was around. I don't remember it, but I was 10. But that was a huge turning point.
You, correct?
Pardon?
It still affected you that happened, even though you were young. Tell us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then as I got older, I learned about the Black Cat Cafe. That was just a horrible massacre. Pulse. So there's things that have happened since that just still, they affect you personally, whether you know them or not. It's like that's a part of your life, part of your soul that's been taken away. So it's still very effective. I know Tree, who works at Stonewall still. He was there that night. So so if you want stories, talk to Tree Sequoia. He still works there, and he was there. So
that's really good to know. Maybe we'll have to get him on the show eventually and spill some tea about history, because we all could use a little education, boys and girls.
Yes, we can, definitely.
Well,
and we're all still learning too.
Let's move on with this interview a little bit and go into a little more of your personal drag life as a performer, and talk about a regular show that you have been part of for so many years, even as it's evolved from show to show, that we now know as Glamazons. So tell us really quickly about the history behind that show.
So really quick, it actually started at Neighbors. Well, actually, there was a show at Perry's, before that, but with Diva and Caress and Victoria, a few people, they had a show at Neighbors as a Wednesday night. And then that evolved to a Friday night show, which then they named it Shebang, with Francesca, Caress, Diva, Mystique, and a few groups. And I was a special guest after a while. I'd come in and be a special guest. So Shebang lasted until the bar closed in 2006. And we were regular Friday night. Every Friday night, we would take August off. Our season finale would be type of thing. And then when Neighbors closed, Diva moved it over to John Henry's for Glam, which was a twice-a-month party, basically. And they had little short shows at, I think, at midnight at 1. There, something around there. It was like 2 little short things. They had go-go people, go-go dancers, and the bar was packed. Twice a month, it was just absolutely packed. And then when John Henry's closed, we moved Glam to Diablo's. And from Diablo's, from Glam, we started doing Glamazons downstairs as the second show. With the upstairs, they did Glam Party, and then Glamazons was downstairs. So it's evolved, throughout, bar after bar, and then Glamazons kind of evolved out of that. Got the old troupe back together, and just kept on continuing, kept on the momentum.
I love that, and it's kind of funny because 3 of the original girls for all those shows is you, Diva Simone Slaughter, and Caress Ann Slaughter. You girls have been literally together through thick and thin. Tell me a little bit of your relationship with those 2 bitches.
Okay, without crying, talking about these 2, I first met Diva, I believe it was 92, so we're coming up on 30 years. Yes, wow. Diva, you're getting older. I think it was a coronation at Valley River Inn where I first met Diva. Caress was a few years later, because I was still, in Florence, still doing the drive back and forth from Florence. So, but those 2, we kind of collected and connected back then at the Neighbors days. I think was where we were finally really connected, and just become the threesome. We call it our SB3. Shebang was SB, but we're the 3 left, so we're SB3. So those 2, I mean, really, they're really probably my best friends, I think, that are still alive. I don't want to jinx anything, but like I can tell Diva anything. We can talk about anything. Caress as well. And we just bullshit back and forth. We can give each other shit. We can, support each other. We can laugh. It's like having my own personal little family within a family. So.
And it just shows that, especially when you get booked in a cast, a regular cast, and you're doing those regularly with a group of the same people, especially for years upon years, that it does grow that beyond a friendship. It grow, or just even coworkers. It creates a whole family. And I mean, my best friend in the whole world is one of the people I started doing drag with, which is also my emperor. Fake It Nightly or Hunter Down Nightly. And literally since quarantine happened, I literally talk to them on the phone every single fucking day. So it's true, when you create these relationships backstage, they don't just stop backstage. They go into our everyday lives also and impact us. So it's really beautiful, Daphne, to see that you, Diva, and Caress have stayed friends through all these years, and not just stayed friends, that you guys continue working together and gossiping about the rest of us bitches.
we dish a little dirt, but it's all in good fun. I mean, like I said, we go out, we do birthday parties together. We do, it's just, we're not just, just performers. Yeah, it is outside of drag as well. We're friends there, so it flows over there. So if you have a chance to be in a cast, you have a troupe like that, get to know them, spend time outside of the show, outside of drag. So.
Absolutely. Now, back to Glamazons just a little. Tell us what we can expect from a Glamazon show.
God, it varies from show to show. We each have our own unique way of performing, our own, little niche here and there. So it changes from show to show. We're hoping to come back, full force here real soon. If we ever get a lift, past 100 people, but we're just playing it by ear and seeing what happens. Diva's got a full beard going now, so who knows?
That was what I was gonna say. I was like, you're saying you're hoping to come back soon, and I'm over here like, I don't know, Daphne. Diva's gotten quite comfortable with that beard of hers.
It's gonna take him probably 2 weeks just to shave the beard.
Oh my God. Well, I hope not, because I'm trying to get that bitch on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock in July. So Diva, Simone Slaughter, if you're watching, call me, girl. Well, I love it. What do you think has made Glamazon so popular through the years?
I think it's, like I said, it's that continuation, that camaraderie we have together, and people enjoy that. We can give each other a hard time. We have fun on stage. We all give it our all. We each have such a unique, different way of performing. Between Nikki has, she's taken over the young troupe. I can't do it, but get on the ground anymore. But Nikki still can. Crest, and Diva, and who's, I think, the most fabulous stand-up, I've heard. She could plan on going to stand-up, but she won't. But I think we all have this unique capacity that we can pull together and just make a fun show. And people just keep coming back, and they get that connection, and they just want to keep coming back and just have a good time.
And I love it. I mean, you go to a Glamazon show and you're definitely going to have a good time. I have special guests with you guys several times, and it's probably one of my favorite shows to do just because it's professional, it's quick, and the crowd eats it up the whole time when you're out on stage. And like you said earlier, when the crowd's having a good time, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Now, Daphne, tell me a little bit. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. Do you feel like with doing all these regular shows, especially with Glamazons, because at one point you were doing Glamazons every single week, do you feel like that has helped you get in touch who you are as Daphne Storm, also as the character?
Yeah, it helps when you're doing it regularly like that. You learn to evolve and adapt, and you try new things, step out of the box. So you're constantly recreating yourself for different performances and different aspects. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. And what do you think has made Daphne, even though she's been around forever, not just because she's been around forever, so popular, not only within Eugene, but all over Oregon?
If you can figure it out, let me know. I don't. I enjoy being myself. Like I said, I enjoy making new friends. I enjoy traveling. I just have fun. Whenever I go, I just have fun doing it. And it's just, I think just that realness, that people see, that we connect with.
Absolutely. Now, you have also been featured in several music videos here within our community with a kind of mega singing star that we have known as Latasia. And you were in the music video for Rainbow most recently, but you were also featured in the music video Ball. So
Yeah.
what was that experience like for you?
That was fun. It was a fun experience, and Latasia is amazing, and I was honored to be asked to be in it, in them, and it's always fun doing stuff like that. I've always been stories from U of O, students doing articles and exposés on me throughout the years and little videos here and there, but to actually be involved in something like that, it's always been, it's part of that, I wanted to be an entertainer, wanted to be a singer, and that's like probably like, Cher finally made that last media outlet, so I finally made it to a music video. So I've done it.
I love it. And like you said, you've had many exposés done on you. Most recently, I believe last year, you had one that kind of was focused directly on you and didn't just go into the history of your drag, but it was like a pure, raw, unadulterated expose that was you as Bill and Daphne. So what was that like to share your pure history?
That was interesting. Like I said, I've always done the stories, just on drag and, history of drag before, but this one actually we delved into, like I said, more of, Bill, more of my background, what I went through when I came back from California, what I went through when I had to put Daphne away for a couple of years, when my dad passed away, it's like stuff that I hadn't really talked about to anybody really, at all. And just had this whole story done. I mean, I sat when he finally finished it, and then I cried, and I said the words. I remember saying the words to him. I still cried reading my own words. It was just to actually see it in black and white, on print. That was my life. I went through this. I went through some shit. I went through some good times and bad times. So it was really eye-opening, I think, for me to have that total objective view on paper, something that I've never had before.
Well, I think that's truly beautiful. And if all you beautiful boys and girls don't know the beautiful Daphne Bertha Storm, you need to, because she is truly a queen of the community, and she's one hell of a performer, and she's a bitch to have on your side, because when you finally get her on your side, she'll fight for you forever. And I love that. Now, Daphne, we only have a couple more questions, and you've actually almost made it through our interview, and then we're going to play a little game. What should we ultimately know about Daphne Bertha Storm that we might not?
Ultimately know about me?
Yeah, that we might not know.
I don't know. I'm pretty open about everything. Well, a lot of stuff. I actually do still get nervous before I go on stage.
Really? So even a professional like you who's been doing this so many years still gets nervous?
Yep, especially like the Holt Center, Peacock and the Park, big thing like that. There's still that twinge of nerves, that goes through you, and it's like sometimes a little shot helps, take it away, but there's still that twinge of nervousness, okay, here we go. What if I mess up? It's always in the back of your head. And even after this long, after this many years, there's still that in the back of your head going, okay, let's do it.
Well, you are a true professional. And as a true professional, do you have any advice for any upcoming queens or kings or in-betweens that want to come into the drag scene?
I say, if you're interested, do it. No matter what anybody else may say or you may hear, or, rumors are rumors. I call rumors bullshit. They're rumors. They're people that are jealous of someone doing what they want to do. So as long as, and Plus, as long as they're talking about me, at least they're talking about me. So if you're going to do it, try it, find an outlet, find a show somewhere. Just go out and have fun, be yourself, be as creative as you want to be, and just try it. You never know until you're going to try it. It's not for everybody. Some people, like, when I first started, they're very nervous and very, very shy. So it's not for everybody, but, at least if you feel that urge in the back of your mind, try it.
Absolutely.
Reach out to someone for some advice, reach out for some help, ask questions, but try it. You never know till you do.
Okay, I love that. Now, Daphne, what could we ultimately expect next from Daphne Bertha Storm? Could we maybe see you go on RuPaul's Drag Race?
No.
Why not, girl?
You might see a retirement party coming up soon.
Oh, shit, I hope not.
No. Who knows what the future holds? You never do know. I mean, I can have plans, I go day by day, being a homeowner, I have a wedding I'm planning for my son later on this year. So who knows what's going to happen next year. So you never do know.
She mentions a wedding and she says it's for her son, but no, it's actually for her and Steve Graham because she wants to ultimately marry him.
I want a grandson, a grandchild or something.
A grandbaby.
I do. I want a grandbaby to spoil.
I love that, especially if it's the little girl, so you can dress it up like a little doll each time and be like, look what I did. Well,
no, I'll be putting her in Levi's and t-shirts.
Daphne, we have 2 more questions and we're going to play a little game. Now, these ones I know you're going to have fun with because it's you. You have known me again from the very beginning. Do you have any fun, crazy stories or anything you'd like to know working with the amazing Maliena Bitchcock?
I know there's a lot of stuff that I know about you that I don't want to know already.
Okay.
I know some of your exes.
Oh, yeah, I try not to think about that.
Maybe I'll probably just like, what are your plans for the future? What do you have? What are your inspirations? What you're inspiring to do?
I want to be 61 years old and still doing drag like you. Eventually, if hopefully COVID lifts up, I'm hoping that I get a phone call from a TV show. I can't say which one, but I'm a dreamer. I want to be a celebrity, which is dumb, but at the same time, it's always what I've wanted. So I mean, I'm always going to chase after that bright, shining light. And if it's not Camp Wanakiki or Dragula or one of those platforms, I got this fantastic platform for Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, where I get to interview amazing people every week. And I mean, I literally get to rub elbows with legends like you, Daphne. So I mean, it'll eventually happen.
So, well, good. Keep chasing it.
All right. Well,
I'm too tired to run. I can't chase anything anymore.
Oh, that's not true. You should see her with a 25-year-old twink. She'll run.
Well, I can run in heels really good.
Well, one last question before we go into our games. What did you think about your experience on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock?
I loved it. I put it off. I know you've been asking me. I'm like, I just don't want to. It's like fine, I will do it. It's been a pleasure. It's been such a joy. Plus, when you're all set up, I got my little ring light. I got a little background going here. Like, what am I gonna do? We have a car in the background. What's going on? So I had a blast. I really did have a blast. First time drag in 4 months, and had a blast. I have nothing below the waist on, but we won't show that.
That's for the OnlyFans page afterwards.
That's for the Untucked show. Literally.
Well, perfect. Well, you survived the main interview of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. In a few minutes, we're going to go play a little game. But before we do, I want to make some quick announcements. For all of you beautiful boys and girls and all those in between, I want you to look down below within this description of this video. And if you've really enjoyed watching this fantastic interview and getting to know Daphne, look for her Venmo, her PayPal, and Cash App information so you can give her a little something extra for spilling all the tea and telling the history of her drag. You can also do the same for me for putting on this fantastic interview show every week. Again, that is in the description, but also it really is important right now in the state of the world we're in to also mention, and I say this almost every episode, that in solidarity with what's going on in the world, Bitch Talk with Bitchcock wants to support Black Lives Matter, and we really go out of our way each week to put in the description down below where you can support the bail fund, you can support the George Floyd Memorial Fund, and support the basic Black Lives Matter fund also. It's important to make your voice heard, fight for our brothers and sisters who are really fighting for the same equality that us queer people have been preaching for years. So it is our job to stand up for them and really stand for them. So also look down below and support that. Bill, do you have anything to say on Black Lives Matter?
Support. It's extremely important right now. Our rights came about with a riot, and people have had enough. I mean, it's so vital right now. Get out there, use your voice, use your vote. We have to make a change. There has to be a change now. Things have gone along way too long, and yeah, we have to make a change.
Absolutely. And thank you again for saying that, Bill. Now, for all you beautiful people, I hope that you are ready for our next episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock coming up this Monday, as we get a special guest from all the way from Portland. She's known for doing the biggest shows at Shotskis and traveling around with the Lipstick Divas. We get for episode 42, the one and only Diva Dots. She is going to come out and spill all the tea, and you know that bitch has got some good tea. So definitely tune in this Monday. Now, before I let you go, Daphne, you want to play a little bit of a game?
Sure, let's do it.
Well, perfect. We have two little games here. And first and foremost, why don't we get you all looped up as we play a Bitch Talk with Bitchcock favorite that we like to call Truth or Drink. And
I need more vodka then, because I could be drinking a lot, I think.
Well, good girl, because how this is going to work is I'm going to ask you a series of shady questions, and you can either answer truthfully or take a shot. Are you ready? Oh,
Hold
God.
on. Go ahead now. Go ahead. I'm going to grab me a bottle real quick, so go ahead and ask.
Okay, you go get your bottle, young lady, and we will start with the first question. For your number one question of truth or drink, can we expect you to be Empress a sixth time? Oh, she's taking a shot. She said she's not spilling that tea yet. Okay, I love it. She's like, nope, fuck you. Okay, for number two then, this one's fun. Who's your favorite glamazon? And you only get one.
My favorite glamazon?
Yes.
Me.
That don't count. I want more. Fine, take that shot, girl. I'm gonna get you nice at the end of this game. Okay, so number three. Has Daphne ever hooked up in drag?
Well,
we all have.
Yes and no, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Pick someone up while I was in drag, but it comes off before the deed is done. So
that makes sense. I mean, I mean, none of this is real. So to try to have sex with like the padding and stuff,
I'm not getting makeup all over my pillows. I'm sorry.
And it takes us freaking way too long to get our face to look like this to get imprinted onto your.
Yeah. Next.
Okay. Okay, well, you spilled that one. Okay, girl. So for number 4, tell us about your worst performance flop. And a performance flop is where your titty fell off, your wig fell off, or you even fell on your face.
So, and I've been thinking about this because there's been a couple of embarrassing moments. You know, I've slipped and you know, landed on my butt a couple of times. But I think the most embarrassing happened. It was in 1987. I'd come back out from California, did a one-woman show, so to speak. So I did 15 numbers.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was I was saying afterwards. 15 numbers with 7 costume changes, all within. I kept the thing going. It was one of those, you know, side 1 of the cassette was the first set of the show. Side 2 cassette was the other half of the show, with a couple of people in between. So I was the second set. I was doing a rock and roll set. I come out doing Ann Wilson, Best Man in the World, you know, wearing a leather jacket and that leather piece I was telling you about from California, just like leather, it's like a thong with a suit, bathing suit front, and a leather hat. So I'm out there, I'm walking out through the audience, and just before I get ready to turn around, everything comes untucked and down the leg. So, it was like sideways, the thong went sideways, everything went down the right side of the leg. I was like, hi, everybody.
And that was
back around, kind of tucked it back up, finished my number.
And that was a see-through outfit, so they would have seen all the twigs and berries.
It was, well, there was 2 pair of pantyhose, but there was still, you know, light. Oh, they weren't that, they were opaque. So yeah, it was kind of see-through. So, hey, I did get 2 numbers that night, though.
Oh, hi, girl. I bet you got a couple of drinks and phone numbers also.
Whoa.
Well, Daphne, we have one last one. Speaking of drinks, what is the drunkest you have ever been in drag?
In drag, I try to maintain myself. You know, I can tie one on a little bit, and I can maintain. For some reason, the corset helps the alcohol stay away from where it shouldn't be going. But I think it was Neighbors Days, Shebang Show. My friend Dan Hip, he's thrown in my side sometimes, but I love him dearly. It was my Ouzo days. So I'm doing my number. He pulls out, comes up to tip me, and I think a tip. So he pulls out this, it wasn't a shot, it was a rocks glass full of clear liquor. So that's like 3.5, you know, 3 ounces. That's a good, you know, good rocks glass. And I wave it, and it smelled licorice, like, okay, it's Ouzo. So I down that thing. So as I turn away, he taps me on the shoulder, and I turn back around, and he pulls out the other hand with another rocks glass. And I'm thinking, you little SOB. I'm going, we're done, you know? So I grab the glass without even thinking and pop it in my mouth. And that's that point where you think your life flashes before your eyes in seconds. It happened because it wasn't Ouzo. It was Rumpelmints. And me and mint do not get along. So once I've already done, you know, 4 ounces of Ouzo, and here comes 4 ounces of Rumpelmints, my mind's going, either I spit this back at him and become a sticky mess, or I swallow it and die. So my brain's going in mid-sentence of my number, I swallow it, finish my number, get back to the back of the stage, and break out in the full sweat. Oh my God. And almost pass out. It was like, I'm gonna kill you, never again. So that was probably the worst moment of actually for alcohol and in drag. Other than, you know, coming home at 7 in the morning from an after-hours party, but that's a whole different story.
Oh my gosh. Well, in solidarity, I also thought I would share a moment that you were actually at, and my drunkest moment in drag was my step down as Empress the night before. I have never been that drunk, and the next morning, I show up to set up for coronation. I look like the Walking Dead right out of that TV show. And I remember Daphne coming up to me, and I thought she was gonna like hug me or be really sweet and be like, oh, it's okay, sweetie. No, that bitch reaches over and squeezes my diaphragm trying to get me to throw up. And I'm like, you fucking bitch!
I would never do that.
I fucking love you. Well, Girl, we have one more game to play, and this one gets people in trouble. This one we like to call Marry, Kai Kai, or Cancel. And how this will work is I'm going to name a series of 3 names at you at a time. And out of that 3 names, you have to tell me who you want to marry, who you want to Kai Kai, and whose shows you want to see get canceled. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, perfect. For round 1, I figured I really have to kick you in the toe and make you pick out of your glamazons. So, for number 1, we have Nicole Serene Storm, Caress Ann Slaughter, and Diva Simone Slaughter.
Oh. And I've actually thought about this because when Caress had her interview with Slatasia, I was offed. So, payback's a bitch, girl. Caress has been canceled.
Okay.
And don't worry, Diva. Oh, I would marry Diva because we'd have our own bedrooms, our own life, but get the tax break, okay? Safe there. And Nikki, of course, probably, yeah.
I mean,
we do the dirty. Consensual, of course. It had to be consensual, but yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, for number 2, we have some of our favorite girls from Seattle, Portland, and Salem. And starting with the one and only Disney princess or Disney empress herself, Drew Paradisco. The bitch who really keeps us guessing from Portland, Kimberly Michelle Westwood. And then the queen of wigs herself, Lilac.
Oh, I would, okay, I'd marry Lilac because I get some free hair.
Right.
Probably I would Kai with Drew. I mean, I think Drew's pretty got it going on. I've had a little crush on Drew for a while now, so there you go, Drew. If you're ever in Eugene. And of course, Kimberly, I'd have to cancel Kimberly. Sorry, Kimberly. Sorry, gotta cancel you.
Oh my God, Kimberly, you're just too good. Everyone keeps canceling you, girl.
Well, she's got Paul, so I can't. I mean, that's used
Right.
meat. I mean.
Well, perfect. For round 3, I have the one and only Chartreuse O'Hara, Lilac's partner in life, the JJ, and of course, the ever sexy Jacqueline Frost.
Okay, so the JJ's canceled because I gotta get her out of the room so I can marry Lilac. Okay.
True.
So the JJ's gone. The JJ, you've been JJ'd. Probably marry Jacqueline and Chartreuse, another one I've had a crush on. I'd have to
How about this?
Chartreuse.
You can keep Chartreuse. I'll take her husband Paul because.
Well, yeah, they're both. But Chartreuse just has this cute smile, just adorable. You know, just again consensual, of course, it has to be. But yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay, for number 4, let's pull out some legends and make you pick between them, starting with, of course, the one and only Monique LaFay. Oh my God, Portland legend herself, Poison Waters. And the bitch that you're always wanting to strangle, Helen Heels.
Oh, you're hateful. You are really hateful on this one. Oh my. Oh. That's. Can I play the 5th and drink on that one instead?
Now, this isn't a drinking game. You actually have to answer.
Oh. Okay, fine. Oh, okay. So I would marry poison. Again, wardrobe doubled up here, okay?
Right?
Monique, sorry, gotta cancel you. Helen, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Next.
I don't know what to say.
I don't either. I don't either.
Well, we have one last round before we say our goodbyes to everyone. And this one's a tricky one also, because this is some of your Eugene favorites, including the one and only rapping queen herself, Slutasia, the one that always smells like Uranus the Fool, and of course, your favorite hostess with the mostest, Maliena Bitchcock.
Okay. So that one's actually a little bit easier than the last one. because Uranus, again, such a cutie, big crush. So consensual, of course. I would have to say Kai with Uranus. That's a double entendre, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's wrong. Slutasia. I'll marry Slutasia. Bye, Maliena. You're canceled.
I'm sorry.
That's your pay. That's your payback, bitch.
Well, don't worry. I can handle being canceled because, like a phoenix, I keep rising from the fucking ashes. Well,
don't talk about ashes.
Oh, what?
No. It's more lotion.
Oh, yeah. No ashy knees.
That's from the. I'm peeling actually from the last sunburn. So if you see a little dandruff fall, it's actually just skin.
She's lying. It's lice.
Have you seen Death Becomes Her? It's the spray paint coming off.
Oh, that's true. Well, Daphne, guess what, girl? You survived the entire interview of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock.
I did. A little help from Jim Beam. There we go.
Yes. Well, thank you again for coming on this talk show, spilling all the tea. You're one of my favorites, and it's been quite an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast. And I'm sorry I put it off for so long, but happy Pride, everybody. Pride Month. Happy, anniversary of Stonewall, anniversary of the flag, anniversary of our gay rights, our equal rights. Black Lives Matter. Let's do this.
Absolutely. Well said. And again, happy Pride Month, everyone. I am expecting some big things coming up, hopefully in August. Hopefully Daphne pulls together some fun little virtual stuff for us. Now, all you beautiful boys and girls and all those in between, again, if you've enjoyed this fantastic interview with Daphne Bertha Storm, look down below within the description of this video where you can find PayPal, Venmo, and Cashapp information for both me and Daphne. If you don't tip me, which I'm totally okay with, please make sure to tip Daphne. She worked really hard to spill all the tea and to tell all the history of her drag. So again, everything really is appreciated, but never mandatory. Now, all of you beautiful boys and girls and all those in between, I want you to tune in this Monday for our next episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock for episode 42 as we dive deep with the one and only Diva Dot. So I am so excited to say, Daphne, you're done, girl. It's time to go get drunk and hit on those boys on Grindr.
Bye. It's Friday night. I got nothing else to do.
Right? Well, I can't wait to see all of you Monday. In the meantime, I hope you all stay safe and have a great weekend. I love you all, and we will talk to you soon. Bye!